From Hulk Hogan's messy divorces to Ric Flair's 5 marriages, here are 17 legendary wrestling icons whose real-life love stories created just as much drama, gossip, and non-stop discussion as anything they ever did inside the ring, starting with Hulk Hogan. A name that instantly brings to mind the larger-than-life immortal superstar who body-slammed Andre the Giant and became the face of professional wrestling for multiple generations. Yet behind the famous mustache and legendary pythons was a personal life filled with emotional highs and painful lows that often mirrored the chaos of the squared circle, as Hogan's romantic journey stretched across several decades and multiple marriages that constantly attracted fan and media attention. With Terry Bollea first marrying Linda Hogan in 1983 in a relationship that lasted over 25 years and unfolded alongside his rise from top wrestler to global pop culture icon, before the pressures of fame and wrestling life led to their highly publicized split in 2009, ending one of the most recognizable celebrity marriages in wrestling history, after which Hogan found love again in 2010 with Jennifer McDaniel in a relationship that lasted more than a decade before ending in 2021, and just when many thought the Hulkster's romantic story was finished, he married yoga instructor Sky Daly in 2023, a partner many observers say brought calm and balance to his retirement years. Before Hogan sadly passed away on July 24, 2025, he was deeply loved and will be missed by many, and when it comes to Ric Flair, the Nature Boy himself, few wrestlers have ever lived a life as loud and extravagant as the man known for custom robes, championship gold, and proudly calling himself the styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing son of a gun, yet beyond the flash and fame. Flair's personal life was just as dramatic as his legendary career, with Richard Flair's romantic history unfolding like a long novel filled with love, commitment, and heartbreak, as the 16-time world champion was married 5 times to women including Leslie Goodman and Jackie Beams, each relationship marking a different chapter in the Nature Boy's storied life, before eventually marrying Wendy Barlow, a former WCW valet who understood the wrestling world firsthand, in 2018. Only for the marriage to end 6 years later due to the pressure of their demanding schedules, while in contrast, Rowdy Roddy Piper, one of the most charismatic and controversial figures in wrestling history, built his in-ring legacy on chaos, sharp wit, fiery promos, and unforgettable performances that could turn crowds from hatred to admiration in seconds. Yet behind the kilt and the confrontational persona, Piper's real life away from the spotlight was defined by stability, loyalty, and long-term commitment rather than the turmoil he so often portrayed on screen, and unwavering dedication, as Roderick Toombs, the man behind the hot rod persona, married Kitty Toombs in 1982 and began a partnership that lasted until his untimely death in 2015, spanning more than 3 decades of loyalty, support, and shared sacrifice, during which Roddy and Kitty raised 4 children and built a strong family life that stood in sharp contrast to the wild and unpredictable character fans watched on television each week, with Kitty providing the stability and grounding that allowed Piper to travel the world, take part in legendary feuds, and constantly push the limits of professional wrestling entertainment, making the longevity of their marriage a powerful reflection of both Kitty's strength and Piper's deep commitment to his family. While turning to Macho Man Randy Savage, few real-life wrestling stories are as emotionally tied to WWE history or as deeply remembered by fans as his relationship with Miss Elizabeth, as Savage, born Randall Poffo, was known as one of the most intense, focused, and driven performers ever to step inside a wrestling ring. Known for his gravelly voice, colorful outfits, and unmatched intensity that made every match feel like a fight for survival, Macho Man Randy Savage is remembered not only for his many in-ring accomplishments but even more for his relationship with Elizabeth Hewlett, known to fans worldwide as the elegant and graceful Miss Elizabeth, as the two married in 1984 and became one of the most important and emotional storylines in WWE during the late 1980s and early 1990s, with Elizabeth acting as Savage's manager and the emotional heart of many of his greatest rivalries and unforgettable moments, creating on-screen chemistry so real that fans became deeply invested in their journey, celebrating their victories and feeling their heartbreak as if it were happening in real life, until the pressure of fame, constant attention, and personal struggles led to their divorce in 1992, after which Savage later found love again and married Lynn Payne in 2010, just 1 year before his sudden and tragic death in 2011. Yet despite that later chapter, it is Miss Elizabeth who remains forever connected to Randy Savage in wrestling history, their story reaching an almost mythical status, while Elizabeth herself continues to be remembered as one of the most tragic figures the wrestling world has ever known. Ultimate Warrior was pure, uncontrollable energy brought to life, a storm of face paint, neon colors, and wild intensity that made him one of the most unique and unforgettable performers in wrestling history, as James Hellwig, the man who later legally became Warrior, lived just as boldly outside the ring as he did inside it, first marrying Sherry Tyree in 1982 in a relationship that lasted until 1991 and covered the early years of his career and his rapid rise to superstardom during WWE's golden era. But it was his second marriage that truly defined his later life, as he married Dana Warrior in 1999 and built a partnership that lasted until his shocking death in 2014, only days after his WWE Hall of Fame induction and final television appearance, making the loss especially emotional, with Dana standing by him through controversy, time away from wrestling, and his eventual return and reconciliation with WWE, before later dedicating herself to protecting and promoting his legacy through the Warrior Foundation. While shifting focus to Jimmy Snuka, born James Ryer and famously known as Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he was one of wrestling's most groundbreaking high flyers, a performer whose fearless dives and top rope attacks reshaped what was possible in the ring and inspired countless wrestlers who came after him. James Ryer, known to fans as Jimmy Superfly Snuka, was married to Sharon Georgie from 1964 until around 1999 in a decades-long relationship that produced children who would later carry parts of the Snuka wrestling legacy forward. But the marriage eventually ended, and Snuka later remarried Carol in September 2004, remaining with her until his death. Though his personal life and legacy remain heavily overshadowed by serious controversy, most notably the suspicious death of his girlfriend Nancy Argentino in 1983, a case that was reopened many years later and resulted in murder charges shortly before Snuka passed away, charges that never went to trial after he was ruled mentally unfit due to dementia, leaving behind unanswered questions that continue to cloud how his life and relationships are remembered. While in sharp contrast, Sergeant Slaughter, born Robert Reese, became one of wrestling's most recognizable patriotic figures through his drill sergeant persona and has shared a remarkably stable personal life, as he has been married to his wife Karen Reese since 1974. A partnership that has lasted over 50 years and stands as one of the longest and rarest marriages in professional wrestling history, surviving constant travel, career pressures, and the challenges of living alongside a larger-than-life public figure in an industry where long-term relationships rarely endure. The longevity of Robert and Karen Reese's marriage stands as a powerful example of commitment, showing how their relationship survived the pressures that often destroy wrestling marriages such as fame, physical toll, long separations, and constant temptation, proving that with dedication and mutual support, it is possible to build a stable and loving partnership even in professional wrestling, as Karen's steady presence throughout Robert's career gave him the security to chase his dreams while always staying grounded in what mattered most at home, while shifting to Jake the Snake Roberts, one of the most psychologically complex and influential characters in wrestling history, whose real name is Aurelian Smith Jr. His personal life was marked by multiple marriages, including one to Cheryl Hay, and a long-term relationship with Judy Martin that eventually ended, largely due to his long and well-documented battles with substance abuse, struggles that were so severe they nearly destroyed both his career and personal life, and have since been explored in documentaries and interviews that highlight how addiction not only affects the individual but also deeply damages relationships and the ability to maintain lasting connections with loved ones. There are rumors that Jake may be reconnecting with his ex-wife Cheryl Hagood, and many fans hope this chapter brings him peace. While moving on to Ted DiBiase, famously known as the $1 Million Man, he became one of wrestling's greatest villains by combining wealth-fueled arrogance with strong in-ring performances that made him a consistent main event presence in WWE during the late 1980s and early 1990s. And since 1981, Ted has been married to Melanie DiBiase in a relationship that has lasted more than 4 decades, produced 3 sons, 2 of whom followed him into professional wrestling, forming a multi-generational family legacy, with their marriage surviving the intense demands of Ted's active career, years of travel, and life on the road, as Melanie's constant support gave him stability, helped raise their family, and provided a true home to return to, allowing them together to build a legacy that goes far beyond championships and promos and stands as proof that the right partner can make long-term success and personal fulfillment possible even in an industry as demanding as professional wrestling. While next on the list is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin is widely seen as the biggest star in WWE history, the man who helped save the company during the Monday Night Wars and defined an entire era with his anti-authority attitude, beer-drinking persona, and fearless willingness to stun anyone in his path, including his boss Vince McMahon. But while Steve Williams was causing chaos in the ring, his personal life was far more complicated, shaped by multiple marriages that reflected both the pressures of the wrestling business and his own search for stability, as his first marriage to Catherine Burgess in 1990 ended just 2 years later while his career was still rising, followed by a second marriage to Jeannie Clark, known to fans as Lady Blossom. From 1992 to 1999, during the period when Austin rose from a mid-card performer to the biggest name in wrestling, before his third marriage to fellow WWE personality Deborah. Marshall lasted from 2000 to 2003 and played out partly in the public eye amid heavy media attention, until finally in 2009 Austin married Kristen Austin, a relationship that has proven to be his most stable chapter and represents a calmer and more settled phase of his life away from the chaos that once defined both his career and his personal relationships, and has become the longest-lasting and most stable partnership in Austin's life, bringing peace and contentment to the Texas Rattlesnake. With Kristen maintaining a low profile and staying out of the spotlight despite being married to one of wrestling's most iconic figures, while Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has gone on to become a global superstar, transcending wrestling to dominate Hollywood and business. Yet even for someone as successful as The Rock, personal relationships required effort, growth, and the ability to handle fame and constant public attention, as his first marriage to Dany Garcia in 1997 produced one daughter and lasted until 2008 during a pivotal period when Johnson transitioned from wrestling to acting, and remarkably, after their divorce, Garcia became his manager and business partner in multiple ventures, demonstrating a rare maturity and mutual respect, before Johnson married singer and songwriter Lauren Hashian in 2019, with whom he has two daughters, sharing a life and career that she supports through his demanding schedule of blockbuster films, business projects, and worldwide commitments, and his ongoing connection to WWE through occasional special appearances that fans greet with excitement and enthusiasm, while Triple H, born Paul Levesque, stands as not only a legendary in-ring competitor but true wrestling royalty who has transitioned seamlessly into shaping the company's creative direction alongside his wife, as his 2003 marriage to Stephanie McMahon created one of the most influential couples in professional wrestling, blending family legacy with personal partnership in a way that has profoundly impacted the modern WWE landscape, with the pair raising 3 daughters while co-leading WWE's creative and business operations, taking on responsibilities far beyond what they achieved as performers. And their relationship is especially compelling because it grew from an on-screen storyline into a real-life romance, showing that scripted wrestling stories can sometimes turn into genuine, lasting connections, making them the ultimate wrestling power couple whose combined influence, family legacy, and Triple H's in-ring and business expertise continue to shape WWE's future while balancing the demands of professional responsibilities with commitment to their family and continuing to nurture their personal relationship, while The Undertaker, born Mark Calloway, stands as one of WWE's most iconic and enduring figures, a supernatural character who has enthralled fans for over 30 years with his dark presence and unmatched longevity. Yet behind the deadman persona lies a man whose personal relationships have evolved alongside his growth, beginning with his first marriage to Jody Lynn from 1989 to 1999 during the early years of his legendary WWE career, followed by a second marriage to Sarah Frank from 2000 to 2007, a relationship that even became part of WWE storylines and brought his private life into the public eye in both compelling and challenging ways. And since 2010, he has been married to former WWE diva Michelle McCool, who understands the wrestling world firsthand, as she retired from active competition to focus on family, and together they have built a life that balances the demands of The Undertaker's legendary career with the privacy and normalcy that comes after decades in the spotlight. Their relationship reflects a partnership built on mutual understanding of the unique challenges and demands of the wrestling industry, as both have lived it firsthand, and Michelle's choice to step away from her own successful career to focus on family created a stable foundation that supported The Undertaker through the final years of his legendary career and into retirement, while Shawn Michaels, known as the Heartbreak Kid and Mr. WrestleMania, experienced a career full of iconic moments and legendary matches, transforming from a controversial figure into a respected veteran and trainer, with his personal life mirroring this journey of growth and redemption, beginning with his first marriage to Teresa Wood from 1988 to 1994 during a turbulent period at the height of his fame, followed by his 1999 marriage to Rebecca Kershey, formerly known as Whisper in WCW, whose own experience in the entertainment world strengthened their relationship, and together they have built a marriage of over 2 decades, raising 2 children while supporting Shawn as he transitioned from active competition to retirement and now to his role training the next generation of WWE superstars at the Performance Center. Their relationship stands as one of wrestling's great success stories, showing how the right partnership can provide the foundation for personal growth, redemption, and lasting happiness even after years of turmoil and uncertainty in both professional and personal life, while Kurt Angle, an Olympic gold medalist who brought unmatched credibility and athleticism to professional wrestling, has built a personal life that reflects both support and stability through his career highs and challenges, beginning with his first marriage to Karen Smedley from 1998 to 2008 during much of his initial WWE run and later TNA tenure, before marrying actress Giovanna Yanity in 2012. who brings her own experience in the entertainment industry to their relationship, and together they have 4 children, creating a blended family that has become the cornerstone of Angle's life after wrestling, with Giovanna supporting him through the physical toll of decades of intense competition, health struggles, and the ongoing journey of maintaining well-being after retirement, showing how the right partner later in life can provide the stability and support needed to navigate the challenges that follow a legendary career. The fact that Giovanna understands the entertainment industry through her own acting career allows her to relate to the pressures and demands Kurt Angle faced in the spotlight, creating a shared understanding that strengthens both their bond and their family, while Mick Foley, known for his many personas including Cactus Jack, Mankind, and Dude Love, remains one of wrestling's most beloved figures, celebrated for his willingness to sacrifice his body for fans and for his genuine connection with audiences. Yet behind the hardcore legend is a devoted family man whose marriage to Colette, begun in 1992, has endured over 3 decades, surviving not only the physical punishment Mick suffered throughout his career but also the emotional strain his family endured watching him risk his life in the ring, with the couple raising 4 children, including their son DWI, who has followed the family into wrestling media, and Colette's unwavering support allowed Foley to pursue his extreme and unconventional career while knowing he had a stable, loving home to return to after every brutal match. Their relationship stands as a powerful example of how the right partner can provide the emotional support needed to endure the intense demands of professional wrestling, showing that genuine love and commitment can survive even the extraordinary challenges of being married to a hardcore wrestling legend, while Bret Hitman Hart, one of the most technically gifted wrestlers in history, known as the excellence of execution for his mastery of ring work and dedication to the craft, has had multiple marriages reflecting different chapters of his life, beginning with his first marriage to Julie Hart from 1982 to 2002, which spanned his legendary WWE career and time in WCW, enduring both the highest highs and lowest lows of his professional life, followed by a second marriage to Cinzia Rhoda from 2004 to 2007 during a transitional period. And since 2010, he has been married to Stephanie Washington, a union that has drawn media attention due to their age difference but has provided Bret with stability and support through his post-wrestling life, including health challenges like a stroke, appearances at WWE events, work as an ambassador for the company, and efforts to preserve his legacy as one of wrestling's greatest performers, showing that even after previous relationships that didn't last, legends can find new partnerships and lasting happiness. And that wraps up this video. Be sure to check out the cards on your screen for more interesting stories like these.